welcome to our podcast. That was our theme song.
We like to call this podcast ShitShow.
Because that's what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be a shit show, if you ask me.
Just like our lives in general, honestly.
I know. My name is Maddie Volker.
My name is Sydney Volker.
And yes, we are sisters, even though we don't look anything alike, which is rather fun.
It's so much fun. But we're also best
friends.
Pals. Best friends.
Regardless of who and what we are.
Yeah?
Regardless.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious.
This is our podcast, and this is something that we've kind of been wanting to start for, like, many moons.
Many moons
now, for sure. And, so what made you kind of want to start a podcast?
I just have so many things to say.
Oh, do you?
There's just so many things I would love to comment on and put my take on. So now I have the platform to do so.
That's amazing.
Right? Why did you want a podcast?
Because I love attention.
It's super valid. I mean, that's all part of it, you know?
No, that's, I don't know. I think it's just, because right now we're in quarantine. It's May 6th, 2020. So we are, like, kind of in the midst of a pandemic, a global pandemic.
Right.
In case you didn't know that.
Did you guys hear about that?
No. I actually just heard about it for the first time, like, 2 hours ago.
I had a teacher who was going on a retreat for 90 days, and he's getting back in, like, a week, and he didn't bring any technology at all, so he's gonna come back and have no idea what's happening.
It is gonna be a really big surprise for him, for sure.
Right?
He's gonna be like, wow, where is everyone?
Right?
And
when he goes to the store, he's gonna be like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna see people in hazmat suits, and he's gonna be like, that is not what I remember it being as. He's gonna be very confused.
Right?
But no, imagine, like, if you go on, like, a deserted island for, like, however long, and then all of a sudden you come back, and
this
the world's
is
in
the
a
world.
pandemic.
And now there's bees. Now there's bees on our island.
There's bees? Like, we aren't killing bees anymore?
No. Like, there's, like, some bees that got here that are, like... There's, like, bees or hornets or something. Do you not know about that?
No.
That, like, was released in May.
What do you mean, released? Like...
That information was released in May.
Like, what do you... Like, are they, like, a weird species? Like a...
They're, like, big-ass, like, bees that are outside, and everyone was, like, freaking out. They're, like... If they sting you, like, you could get, like, super fucked up.
Wait, okay, hold on, pause. Because I live in Flagstaff, and if people don't know what Flagstaff is, picture, like, Colorado, but super, super miniature-sized in, like, the northern part of Arizona. Like, it's very mountainy. There's a lot of pine trees. We get snow up there. It gets super cold, which a lot of people didn't know that kind of stuff happens in Arizona, because when people think of Arizona, they're like desert, you know, like Palm Springs, all that kind of stuff. Cowboys, exactly. Horse riding, rodeos.
Lots of all of it.
Barbecues. All we do is eat cactus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
there's more to us.
There's a lot more to us.
Right.
Than just cactus eating and rodeos. If you think about it.
No,
But,
you're right.
So I was outside the other day, and I saw, like, this absolutely ginormous bee. Like, it was the size of my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, I don't know. Like, what's, like, something that I compare my thumb to? Because...
Not everyone can see your thumb right now.
That's right. Like, picture... That is such a good question.
That's like, literally the most brilliant question.
Picture, like, an ice cube. I would say it was, like, the size of an ice cube.
Literally horrifying.
And it was so, like, the buzz of it was so loud. It was, like... And I was, like... What the hell is that?
Right?
Like, and it was, like, kind of, like, chasing me around. And I was, like...
So evil.
Go away?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Totally. That's insanity.
Yeah, and I've literally never seen, like, a bee like that before.
It could have been one. It could have been one of them.
I know, and now that you say that, I'm like, oh my god, that definitely could have been, like, one of the bees that you're referring to, because...
I think they're dangerous. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I mean...
I have no idea, because it just kind of, like, minded its own business, like every other bee.
I mean, I would never kill it, but I would, like, if I saw it, I would probably go the other way, you know?
Oh, yeah, like, I wouldn't invite him over for, like, tea or anything like that.
No, there's none of that.
No tea parties with Mr. B, none of that. But I would definitely just, like, leave it alone.
Let him live.
Exactly.
Definitely let... And if you do kill animals, we have things to say.
We actually hate you.
We hate you.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't hate anyone.
No.
Well, I personally don't. But I'm actually vegan, which I've been for about 2.5, almost 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And, it's been a really good decision.
Would you say you're anemic?
No,
That's amazing. See, that's a conspiracy. Well, some bodies are, and that's just because everyone's body's gonna react different.
But no, okay, this is actually like a really relevant topic. I think it's like a lot of people ask me why I went vegan, and there was a bunch of reasons, you know, like it was the ethical reasons where I didn't really want to eat animals anymore like that. Especially if you watch like a documentary or two, and it just like really shows the violence that goes on in factory farming and everything like that. And then for environmental reasons, because farming does take up a lot of like natural resources like water and land and all that kind of stuff, and it takes like a lot of food to feed the cows, which then the cows end up not feeding that many people when the food that could have been fed to them could have fed a lot of people, if that makes sense.
There's also deforestation, air pollution, all of the hormones, water pollution, and complete habitats in the ocean often are destroyed, so we get dead zones.
Yeah.
And then there's all the antibiotics they use feeding the cows and stuff. There's so many different factors of it, I feel.
I know, and I think people are just like, okay, like, I'll just eat this hamburger, like, whatever, but I think if you, like, kind of stop to think about, like, what all went into it.
Right.
Because you think immediately, like, okay, if I eat this hamburger, it's just the cow. But somehow the cow had to get to your plate. And it's like, it used to be, like, a little baby cow, then they had to raise it. I don't know. There's, like, a lot of reasons why I decided to go vegan. But that's a question that I do get asked a lot. They're like, where do you get your protein? Or, like, are you anemic and stuff like that? And for me, veganism has been like a really big trial and error thing.
Right.
So you kind of experiment with food and experiment with like different ways of getting protein and cooking and all this kind of stuff.
And you can get so creative with it, you know?
Oh, like, yeah. It's been like
standard meals, really.
Yeah.
It's all new.
It is. It's new ways of like preparing and like getting really creative with things like jackfruit. Like, do you know what jackfruit is?
I do. I had it in a ramen noodle once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I've actually never had it before, but I see it on, like, Instagram, and, like, sometimes Snapchat stories will have, like, those cooking videos or whatever, and they'll use jackfruit, and I don't really know where it's from. I think it's from, like, Asia or something like that, but it's, like, this ginormous, like, spiky watermelon-looking thing, and then you can kind of, like, rip it to shreds and, like, season it, and it ends up tasting like meat.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's, like, a lot of alternatives that you can explore with and experiment with and everything like that. But I know that veganism, it kind of comes with education, and not everyone has the opportunity to that education.
Right, and it comes with a lot of money, too. It's very privileged to be vegan, honestly and truly. Because I think there's a lot of people who would love to, but they don't have those resources to just be eating like that, you know? It's very expensive.
No, I totally get that. That's actually, like, another conspiracy theory, though, about being vegan. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, like, you have to... It all has to be so expensive to eat vegan, like, meat alternatives and stuff. Where, like, yeah, if you're buying, like, meat alternatives, like the things that you can buy in like the frozen section, like frozen hamburger patties or like frozen chicken nuggets, those become like super expensive. But if you just kind of experiment with like the vegetable section, the fruit section, all that kind of stuff, it actually is not super expensive. Like, if you go to, like, the store and you buy a bunch of veggies and fruit, like, you're not going to walk out of there spending $200 unless you buy, like, the entire fruit and vegetable section.
Mm-hmm.
So, which normal people don't normally do.
And I think another thing with veganism is, like, I don't know if people understand that small things they change make a huge difference.
Huge,
Like, I think there's a stigma that, well, if I don't go, like, completely vegetarian, I'm making such a small difference, and it's really not gonna matter. But, like, imagine if every single person cut out meat from just one meal a week. There'd still be such a huge improvement, you know?
100%. I think it's, like, that all or nothing mentality where people are like, you know, if I'm not 100% vegan or 100% vegetarian, then my efforts won't really matter. But it really does. It's just, like, being conscious, and it's, like, being conscious in every aspect of your life, not just with the food that you eat, but also, like, do the products that you use, do they animal test, or where do they, you know, just being more aware of your contribution to the world, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was, like, a little segue that we weren't even expecting to talk about.
We were so not expecting, and I'm happy it happened.
Me too, because it was actually great.
Right?
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
Right? What's your favorite animal?
Oh my god. I feel like I have so many. I don't know. What's your favorite animal?
Okay, it changes a lot,
100%.
but right now, I love zebras. I just think...
No, I get that.
So cute.
Yeah.
And maybe... I'm a huge bunny fan.
Bunnies are super cute.
It's beyond.
You know what? When I was little, like, in 4th grade, we had to do, like, these animal reports, right? And I did mine on the Roadrunner. And I was, like, obsessed with Roadrunners for a minute.
Cool.
Like, I did this whole report. I had to draw a Roadrunner, like, and then I had to present this thing to the class where I was like, here's my thing on Roadrunners. And I just was, like, oddly obsessed with them. And when I was younger, I remember being obsessed with dinosaurs and sharks. But that's because we loved the movie Jaws, and I personally loved the Jurassic Park, the OG Jurassic Park trilogy. You know, like, the one from, like, 90s.
We should watch that.
Yeah, no, it's super good. And, like, I don't know, there was just, like, this thing about dinosaurs that I really, really loved. Because they are just, like, you'll never see them with your own eyeballs. Like, they're so mystical, I guess you could say.
Right.
Like, it's not, like, a mystical way in, like, a warlock or anything. But it's, like... like, wow, a dinosaur, like, I'll never actually see that with my own eyeballs. I can only see that in Jurassic Park. And read about them in books and stuff.
Yeah. I had to do one of those reports when I was in, like, 2nd grade on breeds of dogs. So I did a Chihuahua and a Shih Tzu.
I remember.
Do you remember this?
Okay, no, I remember. You were literally obsessed with Chihuahuas.
Right?
For, like, kind of a long period of time.
They're just so, like, strange and powerful at the same time.
They are super strange. Like, their eyeballs almost bug out of their head.
Right? And you're kind of concerned at many points, but it never does pop out of their head,
no,
you know?
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Right.
Exactly. No, I remember that when you had to do that. And you literally, like, bought a Chihuahua stuffed animal, and...
No, it was awesome.
It was just, like, Chihuahua obsession.
Y'all ever do that?
Do you all ever have a Chihuahua obsession? I certainly have not. But some people have, and that's valid.
Yeah, it is valid.
It is.
It's not valid.
I want to get a dog really bad, but let's be clear about something. I'm 21 years old. I'm in college. I'm going to be in college. Next year's going to be my senior year, which is, like, last year in college. But then I'm also going to be there for a 5th year.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
because I just want to kind of like continue my schooling there and just get as much education as possible. So right now is like completely not ideal for me to get a dog, but I still want one so bad, and I would want to get either a dash hound, like a wiener dog, or a lab or a golden retriever, or some mid-size kind of dog.
You have, like, poodle dog energy. Like, I think you should get a poodle.
A poodle?
They're fabulous.
Wait,
don't you think?
Like a small poodle, or...
I'd say a pretty large and in charge poodle.
Are you kidding?
Wish I was.
A large and in charge poodle?
Mm-hmm.
No.
They're so fun.
Are you... No, see, I don't really think poodles are, like, that cute. And I also think they're, like, aren't they, like, aggressive? Like, I'm pretty sure they're, like, kind of aggressive. But also, wiener dogs are aggressive. And then I think it's because they're, like, so small, so they have to, like, compensate for their small size.
It's like men, you know?
Exactly.
It's like when small men love to comment on how you have to be 110 pounds. It's like you're only saying that because you're super small and you're shameful of it.
Exactly. And you don't have the body power to lift anything else.
To lift anything else. Literally anything else.
Exactly. And you're like 5'3" on a good day.
Right?
And so I think like men, they don't like bigger women or tall women. Well, I shouldn't say, there's men out there that definitely do.
Yeah, let's not overgeneralize, but there's definitely men who like their small ladies.
And they like to let people know.
And exactly, I'm like, that is more than valid if that's your preference,
Exactly,
whatever.
yeah.
But why say it to the world and seclude all these different body types? Like, what's happening?
That's what I'm saying. If that's your preference, amazing. Like,
amazing.
Everyone has what they're attracted to. However, I don't need to see tweets about it. I don't need to see TikToks about it. I don't need to see Instagram posts about it.
Right?
I don't need to, like, really hear about your own personal preference.
And
like,
if you want to talk about it, it's more than fine as long as you don't seclude other body types and basically put every other body type that's not your preference down. Like, what's that about?
Yeah, like, if your thing is small, like, shorter, petite women, amazing, but you don't have to, like, compliment that body type by being, like, every other body type is super unattractive and shitty.
If you're over 110, get a diet. Did you see that TikTok?
What?
Yeah. He was like, if you're over 110, ladies, get a diet. And he seriously said it in that tone. And
wait,
it was shocking.
I think you actually sent me that TikTok.
I was floored. But what was awesome was all these ladies of all these different body types, like, use that voice. I don't really know how TikTok works, but they use the sound.
Yeah.
And we're doing, like, all these views of their body, and they're not 110, and they're fucking beautiful. Like, beyond.
Well, and let's discuss that really quick, because I think people get so hung up on the number on the scale, but 110 looks so different on so many different body types. Like,
it's beyond.
If you're, like, 5'9" and you're 110, you're gonna look very, very thin. But if you're, like, 5'1" and 110, you're gonna have more of, like, an average-looking body, you know? Like, because different people carry weight in different parts of their body, you know? So...
And let's also discuss bone structure. I don't think people understand that exists. It really does exist.
I know, and it plays a huge part into how your body is, like, shaped and what it looks like, you know?
And if you ever think, like, oh, I want to be this weight, sometimes it's not realistic because your bone structure is seriously not going to allow that to happen in a healthy way where you're eating, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's, like, at least in my own personal experience, this is kind of personal, so I don't know if I, like, should just throw it out there.
I think you should. It's shit show.
It's
you
shit
totally
show.
Should.
It's so shit show. So, I've definitely struggled with body image in the past, and especially last summer, I think I struggle a lot more with my body type and my body image during, like, summertime, obviously, because people are, like, out in bikinis and swimming, and, like, everyone's just trying to have a good time and everything, which I love summer more than anything. Like, I just love it.
It's so cute.
It is. It's just fun. Like, it's just good times and everything like that. But when I go swimming or like go to the beach, I get very, very self-conscious of how my body looks. And I have like a very like average looking body, you know, like
yeah, definitely.
Like there's certain places on my body though that I'm like, that is so unattractive.
No,
in my
I get
own
that.
eyes. Like if I saw it on someone else, I'd be like, oh, who cares? But like because it's my own body, we're so critical of who we are and everything like that, and we're our own worst critics. You know, you hear that all the time. We're our own worst critics, and these things that we notice, people don't notice.
And don't care. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, like if people acknowledge like, oh, she has like a really flat ass like I do, that's about the extent that people notice, you know? Like, they just kind of think about it in their heads. Unless the person is an asshole and they have to, like, make a comment about it. Which I'm like, don't.
Yeah, seriously don't.
Because, seriously, like, those comments will literally, they stick with people.
They haunt you.
Yeah, they really do.
No, I know. And I think also it's just, I don't know, media... The people who are most confident to post very often are people who kind of do have the ideal body type in society's eyes. So it's kind of like what you constantly are seeing, you know?
Yeah.
You don't see as much diversity on media, at least on my, like, For You page in fashion, especially with fashion.
Yeah.
There's less, diversity in the models I've seen at most companies, and there's Brandy Melville, there's all these different sites with that same body type, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So when you look at your arms, this is actually about me, so when I look at my arms, and then I look at the Brandy Melville site, or I go on TikTok, or I go on Instagram, I'm like, why are my arms so fucking fat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like, if you look at certain models, like, I'm obsessed with fashion, so I really love, like, Kendall Jenner's style. I don't know, like, what you would call it, but it's just kind of, like, not super out there or anything like that.
Fabulous.
In, like, Hailey Bieber or Baldwin. Hailey Bieber.
Hailey Bieber, for sure.
That kind of like, that more, like, simplistic, cute little style and everything like that. It's so, you just see a certain body image reiterated time and time again on social media, and then it kind of like makes you question, like, is my own body valid because it's not being celebrated on social media? Like, you really question the validity. Is that a word?
Yeah, sure.
Validation.
Seriously, not a clue, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we know. We totally know.
Yeah, like, you really start to think, like, is my body valid because it doesn't look like so-and-so's? And it's not celebrated on social media. And then you start to really get nitpicky with yourself because you're like, oh my god, I literally have Shrek thighs and John Cena arms.
Well, also, I think with some of the styles emerging, we have, like, the tank tops, like the cute, like, 2000 tank tops, and, like, these bandana tube tops, and all these things that are so, so cute, but it exposes all of your arms, it exposes your tummy, it exposes everything on your body, really, you know? And, like, sometimes it is really fun to be a part of those trends, and they're cute styles, but it can be really intimidating for people who have body image issues, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Very intimidating.
I think I just end up wearing whatever I want anyways, though, because I'm
that's
like...
good. That's how it should be.
Yeah, because I'm like, whatever, but even sometimes when I am wearing, like, certain trends, I'm like, okay, I have to really make sure that my posture is, like, good, so it doesn't look like I have, like, a little tummy, or, like, I really have to hold my shoulders back, so my arms don't look like John Cena arms, you know, like... And I know that I don't have John Cena arms, but, like...
They're not even a little.
But when I'm being, like, super self-critical, like, that's the kind of stuff that I tell myself in my head.
But, okay, let's give it a scenario. Say you had bigger shaped arms. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, as long as you wear the confidence on your sleeve, it seriously, I feel like it doesn't matter what body you have.
Oh, God, no.
It seriously
doesn't matter at all. And it doesn't matter at all what kind of body type you have. It just, like, when you see stuff on social media reiterated time and time again, it almost seems that there's, like, a right way to have a body.
Right, exactly.
And a wrong way to have a body. And if you don't look like so-and-so, and if your arms, like, aren't super thin, or you aren't super thin, blah, 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 it almost feels like, am I not beautiful? Because you kind of compare yourself to that other person.
I think as long as you, because every body is just beyond different. So it's like, as long as you are eating, like, nutritional food and you're actually eating, like, eating the amount of calories you need to eat, then I think your body, how it looks, is how it's supposed to look, you know?
Yeah.
And you can't try to, because, I mean, this is personal, but both of us, like, have skipped many meals, beyond many meals. And at that point, it's not even valid because it's completely unhealthy and we're killing our bodies, you know? And that's not fair to ourselves.
I wouldn't say it's, like, not valid, but, like, it's definitely super dangerous. And, like, I've definitely in the past, like, calorie counted and, like, said no to a lot of eating out certain meals and saying no to a lot of certain foods because I don't want to gain that weight and everything like that, or I don't want to, like, go over my calories. But let me tell you, it is such a mentally draining process to do that. To count calories and to be so...
It's beyond.
Hyper aware, being, like, so hyper aware.
And constantly weighing yourself.
Yeah, and to, like, always be comparing what my body looks like and thinking, okay, like, it looks good, but not good enough, so I have to keep going. It's just, it's a really dangerous path to go down. And I've definitely gone through it, and there's times when it's, like, a lot stronger where, like, the urge to not eat... Well, I shouldn't say it like that. I think there's times of the year where my body image suffers a lot more than other times.
Right, like winter, I don't think about it at all because I wear such baggy shit.
Yeah,
but summer, yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And I think there's, like, that pressure where it's like, oh, summer bod, you know, like, I'm gonna look so fabulous and everything like that.
Yeah.
And if that's your body type, I love that for you. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
But...
it can be intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah, it can be. But that's not their fault. It's my fault for comparing myself and thinking that my own body isn't valid, even though it is very valid.
Right, and that's why I say, not like eating disorders aren't valid. I'm saying it's not accurate to underfeed yourself as a way to lose weight, you know? Like, that's not valid. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's just, like, there's other ways to lose weight in a more healthy way.
Well, yeah, and I completely get not eating, but that is only going to lead to your metabolism. Once you do start eating, you're going to gain all this weight really fast. You know what I'm saying? And it's really hard to get it back down. But what was I going to say before that? I was going to comment. What were you saying before?
I was talking about body image and how we compare ourselves and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, but I was gonna say there really is no ideal body type. Like, there isn't. It's just, and it's not the media. We're not victims. We have to take charge of how we're perceiving the outside world and media and how much we're consuming, what things we are looking at, you know, because we can't be victims in the end, you know.
I know, especially because we have such a control, like, our own social media, we have so much control over what we can and can't view on it. So it's like, if you see an image that, like, really triggers body image within you, just block that image, and then Instagram will stop putting that kind of stuff on your For You page. But I think it also takes, like, a lot of self-awareness to kind of understand, like, okay, seeing this image time and time again really does hurt my own self-esteem and self-confidence and body love and everything like that. So it has to take, like, a certain level of honesty with yourself and thinking, where am I getting these ideas from? Like, am I getting these ideas from social media or TV or movies? Like, where am I getting this ideal body type, quote, ideal body type from?
Right.
And how can I kind of protect myself against it? And I think that's really important, especially when you're kind of going through, like, a recovery period where you're, like, trying to learn self-love techniques and trying to kind of get back in your own confidence and stuff like that. But it's definitely a slippery slope to manage, for sure. Because I remember last year, I studied abroad in Greece last summer, right? And Greece is like, you know, Mamma Mia. It's, you're going to be swimming in the ocean with your 3 potential baby daddies.
Right?
No.
As you should be.
As you should be, exactly. No, but there is a lot of swimming, and it's like summertime and everything over there, which it does get super hot over there. Like more humid and everything. So it's very uncomfortable to be wearing a lot of clothes. And I just remember I didn't really want to eat that much when I was over there. First of all, because there wasn't a lot of like vegan stuff for me to eat. So I really just like lived off of falafel.
Which is amazing.
Well, do you know what falafel is?
Yeah, we had it at that place in Flagstaff.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Pita Jungle. 100%. But it's basically just like chickpeas, like grinded up chickpeas with like a bunch of herbs in it, and then it's fried, and it kind of is like chicken nugget
energy.
Yeah, kind of same chicken nugget energy. I wouldn't... Okay, I don't really know what else to compare it to.
I feel like people know what falafel is.
But you know what's so weird? I ask people because I'm like, oh, falafel is so good. And people are like, I literally have not even
heard of that. Really?
Singular clue.
That's very interesting.
As to what that is. But I guess I understand because it's like a Mediterranean specialty. Yeah. But anywho, I literally lived moving on. I literally lived on falafel, mango, oatmeal, and like spinach the entire time I was over there.
Oof.
Which is like, all that stuff is good, but when you eat it for spinach.
Spinach can die.
Spinach can be so beyond foul. Like,
it's foul. How did you eat that?
Because you just put like a little sauce on it, like salad dressing, and then it's fine. You have to really doctor it up though.
It's just so boring.
It is.
I'm just like, can you have more to you when I eat it, you know?
Have a little bit more dimension.
Personality, you know? There's nothing there.
Have a little character, why don't you? But, I don't know. Like, that's literally what I lived off of when I was over there. But I was, like, afraid to eat anything else because I was like, oh my god, like, what if it makes me bloat and then I can't go to the ocean and I can't swim or whatever? Like... Oh, I guess it's not even an ocean. It's a sea. It's the Mediterranean Sea. Excuse me. Over summer, I kept calling it an ocean, and everyone was like, this is not an ocean. This is a sea. And I was like, literally, it's just salt water. Like, it's very totally similar.
Right.
But that's... And I definitely really... Like, last summer, in particular, like, I've never struggled with body image as hard as I did last year. And I would work out in, like, the middle of the afternoon in the Arizona sun. Like, I would go for runs, or I would try to do, like, ab workouts or arm workouts in, like, 115-degree weather.
Oof, that sounds awful.
It was. Like, how did I even mentally do that? And it was more of, like, a thing where it's, like, I am exercising because I can. No, that was not my mentality about it at all. It was more of, like, oh, I'm exercising to almost, like, punish myself for... eating that piece of cake that I had yesterday, or having a sip of a smoothie or something, you know, like something like that.
And I think also it's not as popularized to sit and enjoy your food, you know? Like, in America, we're kind of always on the go. That's a huge... Always on the go, always on to the next thing, the next job, the next class, and we just eat our meals, and we don't think anything of our meals. But when you kind of sit down and you take gratitude for what you're eating and you eat it slow and you appreciate that you have the food in front of you, it's so much easier to be like, I want to eat this food and nourish myself rather than I need to eat this and then go, you know?
Because when you take the minute to, like, set the intention of the meal, it becomes a lot more enjoyable where you're like, okay, so this food is going to nourish my body for this time being.
And I deserve this food.
Yeah, exactly. And just having, like, a different approach to it, a different mindset, being more mindful of the gift of having a meal, you know? Like, because a lot of people don't get to have meals.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's just, like, kind of setting an intention rather than, like, eating super fast and then being like, oh my god, like, I'm hungry. But I definitely do that, you know?
Right, and also when you're able to eat slowly and really appreciate it, that also means that you aren't starving yourself, because when you're super hungry, you know, you want to eat really, 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 really fast. But if you're eating as much as you should be in the day and taking snack breaks when you genuinely are hungry, you won't have to eat super fast, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
You won't have to.
I guess I never even really thought about that.
You know, it probably just means you might be waiting too long for your next meal.
Yeah.
Spreading them out, like, by many, many hours.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, just like with diet culture, and you see it all over social media, there just seems like there's just so much pressure on the proper way to eat food. Like,
that's another thing, yeah.
You know, like, there's cleanses and all this stuff, but every body is so different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you have to kind of figure out what works best for you. And a lot of the time, the cleanses that are advertised don't work for anyone, or they work for a very small percent of people.
Yeah. Or they're, like, kind of like a fast type diet, and then when you finally can go back to eating certain foods, it's like you binge out. Like, that's happened to me, where I won't eat a specific, like, category for weeks and weeks, and then when I finally can, I just, like, eat all of it. Like sugar, you know?
Like desserts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I literally overeat it for, like, another week. So it's like, why did I even just fast?
Yeah.
But some people don't, so I'm like, I'm envious of you.
Yeah.
In that
no,
way.
I know. I think it's literally just, like, all in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like...
Exactly, balance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, finding that balance, finding that mindfulness, finding that gratitude can really help with the eating, but it's so hard to kind of have that all in your brain when you're eating food and everything like that, especially when your brain is so used to going to the old pattern of, like, I need to cut these calories to lose weight so I can look this way.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to retrain your brain to think more positively, or just to, like, teach it new thinking routines.
But honestly, I think something that has helped me is, like, just practicing mindfulness nonstop.
Yeah.
Seriously nonstop, because mindful eating is basically all it is being aware of what you're eating and why you're grateful for it, and how can you prep for the future meals and eat stuff that doesn't make you feel crappy or bad that you ate it, things that nourish you. So practicing mindful eating and just being mindful in general seriously helps so much, I feel.
100%. But I think it's really hard at first to kind of stick to it, if that makes sense, to learn about the mindfulness of eating and then sticking to that, because I've done that in the past and then I've, like, fallen off the horse and I'm like, oh my god, like, I have to start all over again, you know, like, it just kind of gets, like, this defeating circle.
So they call it the practice of mindfulness and practice of mindful eating, because it's a genuine practice where you have to constantly, like how you learn an instrument and then you put it down for a few weeks and then you have to kind of retrain yourself. It's the exact same thing. It's like basically practice or rehearsing something over and over until it sticks. And when you do fall off of it, you have to restart practice.
I know.
It's hard.
And
it's so hard.
That's something that I've, like, definitely struggled with, because when I was younger, I used to play piano, and, like, you and I, we did musical theater with singing and dancing and, like, playing all these instruments and learning lines and everything like that. And I loved going to, like, a designated time for rehearsal, because rehearsal is where practice takes place. But outside of rehearsal, I just remember being like, I have so many other things going on right now that it's, like, hard to find time to practice and everything like that.
Right, yeah, that is a good point, when you're not on, like, a specific schedule with eating, especially, because that's so personal. You're not really inclined to practice. You don't have a teacher or someone that you don't want to disappoint.
Exactly.
Which is why I always pull through. Fear of disappointing people. Truly.
And that's on perfectionism.
Right.
But that is a topic for later days.
For later.
That is a whole other Pandora's box.
Truly.
But no, I think eating is definitely something that I've struggled with. Well, more so body image. And let's go back to it really quick, because we see... I know the industry, the modeling industry and the fashion industry, is kind of opening up more to curvier models. Mm-hmm. Which is amazing. And I think there's so much room for growth in that department. But even right now, like, it seems like there's a right way to be curvy and a wrong way to be curvy.
No, I know.
So, like, for curvier models, it's like, okay, like, you have to have that hourglass shape, like Beyonce or Kim Kardashian. But if you don't really have a curvy body like that, then you're just, like, fat and, you know?
And it not doesn't... seen within the industry.
Exactly, and you don't feel valid. Mm-hmm. And so I just wish that the fashion industry and the modeling industry would kind of expand. And I know that, like, with fashion, especially with very avant-garde, out there kind of pieces that you aren't supposed to wear on a day-to-day basis, is just kind of supposed to be worn on, like, more special occasions by celebrities. I understand why they would have, like, really tall, thin models to model that piece, because they're almost, like, otherworldly, if that makes sense. But for every other day collections, I wish they would include more, like, average people.
Yeah, that's the thing, because when you look at celebrities, I think there's this stigma of, oh, they're treated like they're not average humans, that they don't feel the things we feel, they don't have the struggles we have, and newsflash, yeah, they definitely do. And because they have that platform, it's not as emphasized, and they probably don't talk about it nearly as much as we do, because everything they do is public. And so I think if there's a way to kind of bring them closer to us, and get rid of that stigma, it would be fashion, would be a wonderful way, you know?
Yeah, to kind of open up the conversation of body image.
Yeah.
And of expanding.
And show people that, like, they are icons, and yes, but they probably have a lot of wisdom, like, to tell the average person.
About body image? Or
and everything in general, you know?
Yeah. I saw this article today about this, she's like a professional, what is it? Hypnotist. She's a professional hypnotist. Mm-hmm. But she does it for celebrities, right? And so normally she charges about $1,000 for a session, or like per hour that she works with a celebrity. So she's like very high-end, highly rated, really wanted by celebrities and everything like that. But I saw her today, and she was talking about how, like, this whole quarantine situation has really had an effect on the mental health of celebrities and everything like that. Because normally they have, like, personal chefs and nannies and maids and personal trainers and chauffeurs, all these kinds of people, like stylists. And now all those people are gone, so it's like they're kind of having to, like, relearn just everyday average person life.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's very interesting.
It was really interesting. And that lady, the hypnotist lady, she charges about $25,000 for a session in quarantine right now, because everyone in the celebrity world really needs her right now. But she can't be everyone's hypnotist, everyone's therapist, so she's charging $25,000.
That is insane.
Can you even believe $25,000?
That's insane. And also, I bet just because their whole world is built off the world's validation of them, that's probably affecting them greatly, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, because right now, we're not having, like, those award shows and all that kind of stuff. You know, like, we're not having, like, the Grammys or any sort of concert to kind of, like, celebrate the talents of that person. Mm-hmm. So I, like, couldn't even imagine.
And I think every human's kind of experiencing that a little too.
100%.
I think when you're shoved kind of just in your own little world with just your family, you do kind of get a lack of attention. Like, in a way, you do get a lack of being able to communicate and get praise and all of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like everyone's looking within themselves for their happiness right now. And it can be challenging, I think.
Oh, 100%. Because a lot of things that people, I think subconsciously, get a lot of their happiness and self-worth from, like a promotion at their job or,
right.
you know, that kind of stuff. All that stuff is put on pause right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of becoming clear what makes certain people happy and, like, if their happiness is superficial or not.
And dependent, what they depend on, you know?
Yeah, what they depend on for their validation and their own self-love and everything like that. And I think it's really an interesting time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen a bunch of stuff going around where it's like, okay, after this quarantine is over, treat this next part of your life like it's a second life, like it's your second shot at life, and reorganize your life in a way where it's like you are happy, not from outside validation or outside stuff like that, but really make sure that you're happy with your life. Mm-hmm. Rather than getting, like, the promotions at jobs. Like, I know that can bring a lot of people happiness.
Right.
But it is super... It's not a consistent way to bring in happiness.
It's temporary.
It's temporary happiness. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think, you know, there is so many reasons that this coronavirus is awful. Like, so many reasons.
100%.
But if we're gonna look at the positives and try to find some, I think this is, if not the biggest opportunity everyone has had to evaluate the things we care so much about, you know? I never thought I'd be so excited to walk into my economics class at Perry, you know?
Right?
And if I could do that right now, I would cherish being in a classroom with my fellow peers.
Yeah.
Cracking jokes, writing down stupid fun notes. Like, I would cherish that, you know?
I know, it's so weird because it really makes you reflect on what kind of things you do care about.
I know, and all the dumb things we put energy into that are so small now.
Yeah.
You know?
Compared to, like, this worldwide pandemic, the things that we, at least for me, the things that I would care about in my daily life were so trivial. Mm-hmm. And they took up a lot of my own personal energy that I didn't want to give my energy to, but I just felt like I had to. Mm-hmm. Because there was that expectation of getting things done and everything like that. But I think moving forward, like, I've done a lot of self-reflection during this quarantine, and I think moving forward, I'm going to value a very small amount of things and give my energy to a very small amount of things, so I'm not so burned out all the time.
I know, and you can live and you can be present with the people that you're with and appreciate that you can be with people.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think this pandemic, too, like, it's really taught me who's gonna kind of be there through stuff too, and like who's gonna make time for me, who's gonna reach out and all that kind of stuff. And there's definitely people that I'm going to be leaving behind in my quote past life,
right,
moving forward.
I have another concept regarding that. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm giving you another perspective. Is it possible that those people not reaching out are probably suffering a lot right now, and they probably just aren't reaching out in general, you know?
No, and I totally understand that. But this is more than, like, the pandemic, too, because...
Yeah.
During this pandemic, or right before it happened, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, our grandpa unexpectedly passed away from complications with surgery. And then 2 days prior, my grandma got a stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosis. So my grandpa passed away with him not even knowing that grandma had pancreatic cancer.
Right.
And let me just set the scene for you. Like, me and Sydney are very, very close to our grandparents.
Beyond.
Like, they were part of our daily lives, and that is,
it's
like
not
parents.
It's literally like parents.
Yeah,
you know?
Because they really helped raise us when we were younger, and they were always around for literally everything.
Right.
So getting that diagnosis and losing them, because then my grandma passed away at the beginning of April 7th, and losing those people that are so close to us has just been, like, a whirlwind.
Right, with all of this happening.
Yeah, and then the pandemic happened, and then
But it was a blessing because we did get to quarantine with our family, letting go of our grandma. Like, we seriously took care of her in her last days, which that was really beautiful.
That was very special because otherwise we would have been really caught up in our lives.
Right.
But I'm really glad that it did happen during this quarantine because I think I would have resented the things that I was spending energy on instead of being
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have said, oh, I wish I was on summer break.
Yeah.
Or I wish I wasn't in a show. Like, all these things I didn't have going on anyway.
Yeah. At the beginning of the semester in January, I was talking to my therapist because I go to therapy. I'm like a really big believer in it.
Topic for another day as well.
But we'll revisit that. Okay?
100%. 100%.
But but I was talking to my therapist about it, and I literally was like, Miriam, like, I need to drop out of school. Like, this is just, I need to be home taking care of my grandparents and taking care of my family and everything like that. And then all of this kind of happened. And so it just kind of was odd timing that I was, like, super done with school.
Yeah.
Super about to drop out and everything like that. And I knew that I couldn't. I knew that it would have been so not smart of me to do that because Grandma and Grandpa would not have wanted that for us.
Right.
Would not have wanted me to drop out of school for that.
No.
But my own personal well-being was not good.
Right.
And so I really just didn't want to be wasting my time on things that I didn't really care about. And then, like, this quarantine has just, like, solidified, okay, these are the things that will stay in my life, and these are the things that I will care about.
Right.
These are the people that will stay, because these are the people that were there through a hard time in my family's life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to circle back, like, you really, especially when something like that happens, and you see who reached out and knew them, and who didn't, it's very telling. It's very telling, because I know people don't really know how to respond to death sometimes, and that is totally A-okay, but especially for the people that knew them so well and didn't say a single thing.
Yeah, it was
it's
super
strange.
odd.
It's hurtful, you know, and it's been a month or about 2 months since our grandpa passed, so, you know, we have given it some time for those people, you know?
Yeah.
It is telling.
It is telling, yeah, for sure. And, yeah, it's just been a really odd thing because people that I haven't really, like, spoken to in many moons
right?
reached out, and they were like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and, like, those people really stepped up. And then there's people that have been in my life for so long, you know, and people that I've been so close to, and they just are, like, nowhere to be found. And I understand, like, again, death is a very odd thing for people to respond to.
It's so odd.
Especially in our society, because we are so afraid of death in our society.
I know, and everyone's kind of programmed to think death is such a negative thing.
Yeah. So
negative. And it really is painful, truly,
it
honestly.
Is, yeah.
For everyone who
Yeah.
has to experience losing people. But there's a lot of beauty.
Yeah.
I was watching this movie, it's called This Is Life, and I was telling you, it has this beautiful trailer of this wonderful couple in love, and then the movie was the complete opposite, like, everyone dies, but in the end, the message of the movie, like, what?
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry. Whoopsies. But anyway, at the end of the movie, the whole message that this dying mom said to her son was, my body has failed me, so because you have this healthy, lively body, you have to live a beautiful life for me. That's what she said to her son. She was like, if I was still here, I would continue to live a beautiful life, but because my body failed me, live that beautiful life for me, you know?
Wow, that is amazing.
And it was a beautiful message because it's like, our grandparents were very beautiful, and I'm sure if you have lost anyone, you know, beautiful humans, everyone in different ways, but we can all do our part by living our best lives for them. They don't want us to spend energy on silly things, you know?
Yeah, just so much time is wasted on, like, misery and anxiety and depression and stuff like that. And I would know because I've definitely struggled and had my fair share of anxiety and depression, like, diagnosed anxiety and depression, you know? And so it's just, but I have wasted a lot of time and energy worrying about stuff.
But it's so hard when it's almost out of your control for some people, you know? Like, it's sometimes just really out of their control, and they can, even if you do everything you can and you take all the meds, it can still be so hard.
Yeah, 100%.
Exhausting.
It truly is. It's like a daily thing that you have to attend to, you know?
Right,
you can't really, like, sweep anxiety and depression under the rug and just be like, it's gonna get better someday, and I'm not gonna do any work to try to fix it.
Right.
It has to be, like, this daily dedication to yourself and to your own health to take care of yourself in that way.
Right. But especially now, I'm realizing all the things that brought me all this natural happiness and kind of took me out of all these hard times.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to hug and squeeze those people. And then I can't wait to get back on the stage. I can't wait to get back in the class, you know?
Yeah.
So it could be a very important time, honestly. I'm gonna make it into that, even though it's hard.
It's been super hard. And I think, especially now, because we've kind of been in this for 2 months, since, like, March, maybe, we've been in quarantine. But for a long time, it just didn't really seem like it was quarantine because we were taking care of our grandma for a long time.
Right.
But I think within the past few weeks, it's really felt like quarantine. And I think it's kind of starting to catch up to us because we're like, oh, God, like, how much longer?
What are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Like,
right.
How much longer? But, I think it's really important because this has just been such a quiet time in our society, in our world, you know?
Isn't it weird to live through something that every single human is affected by?
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, I'm sure there's been events in the past, but where every single human is impacted one way or another, large or small, like everyone is. And that kind of takes away the loneliness sense of it, where it's like, you know, I'm bored, but so is everyone else.
Exactly.
You know, everyone wants to go outside.
Everyone. And I think...
You're not special, love.
I know, seriously.
Right?
I think, me personally, I will view this as, like, a huge lesson. And I'm going to, like, try to reset the things that I care and put energy into.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was putting my energy into so many dumb things before, and I'm like, I don't even care about this.
Not even a little. Not even the slightest.
Not even a pea-sized amount.
Right?
Would I care about this thing.
No.
But here I am putting in all this time and energy for it, and I'm just done with that. Like, life is such a blessing, such a gift.
I know, and I think about, like, we're healthy. Like, what? Like...
I know, and there's so many people.
There's so many things that could be wrong with your health. I'm not even kidding.
I know, and to even just have, like, a healthy body to go on a hike or something, like,
it's
what a
beyond.
Beautiful blessing.
It's beyond.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just...
So much reflecting lately. I guess it's just been, like, a reflecting time for every single human, and I hope everyone listening to this has found something that they took out of all of this in the end, you know? Something they'll change going forward.
100%. Those are my wishes for
everyone else.
Everyone, anyone.
Right? Sending that out, manifesting that for everyone. End of story.
Yes, namaste to you.
Namaste. So... We're at 58 minutes, so we should probably end this.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Let's
get a salad wrap and wrap it up.
Anyway, that was super sanch. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We were just kind of...
shooting the shit. We were shooting the shit. And it was fun. I really enjoyed that.
I, as well, enjoyed shooting the shit. That'll be really... We can't high five. That'll be so loud.
Oh.
We'll, like, finger high five.
If you could see us, you would see two fingers high-fiving.
It looks like E.T.
awesome.
Phone Home right now.
We should watch that.
We should.
Okay, anyway, well, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Should we do our song?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't do the song.
Yeah, it's ugly anyway.
It's super ugly.
Bye.